I stared at the anniversary dinner I'd spent hours preparing, now cold and untouched on our dining room table. The candles had burned down to stubs, casting weak shadows across the perfectly plated beef Wellington that Riley would never taste. My husband of 12 years had just told me he was leaving me for my sister. I'm Hope, and until exactly 47 minutes ago, I thought I had the perfect life, a successful catering business, a beautiful 5-year-old daughter, and what I believed was a rock-solid marriage. Funny how quickly perfection can shatter. Mommy? Lexi's small voice pulled me from my daze. Why are you crying? I quickly wiped my eyes, forcing a smile. Just tired, sweetie. Shouldn't you be in bed? Daddy didn't kiss me goodnight. Her bottom lip trembled. Come here. I pulled her onto my lap, breathing in her strawberry shampoo. Daddy had to work late, but I'll give you extra kisses to make up for it. After tucking Lexi in, I collapsed onto the kitchen floor, my phone buzzing incessantly. 12 missed calls from Delaney. Of course she'd try to explain, to justify why my little sister had been sleeping with my husband for the past 8 months. The phone buzzed again. This time a text from Camilla. Girl, where are you? Call me now. I hit dial, my hands shaking. He's gone, I whispered when she picked up. What do you mean gone? Hope, what happened? He's leaving me for Delaney. Saying it out loud made bile rise in my throat. They've been together since Christmas, when she came to stay with us after her breakup with Jake. That little snake, Camilla's voice cracked with anger. While you were letting her cry on your shoulder about Jake, she was planning her future with my husband. I stood up, mechanically starting to clear the table. He said they're in love, that it just happened. Things like that don't just happen, Camilla spat. Where are you? I'm coming over. No, stay home. Lexi's asleep and I need to process this. At least tell me what triggered this confession. Did you catch them? Worse. I picked up Riley's untouched wine glass. He waited until I'd spent all day preparing his favorite meal, until I'd lit the candles and poured the wine. Then he told me how sorry he was, but he and Delaney couldn't hide their feelings anymore. On your anniversary, that bastard. I dumped the perfect beef Wellington into the trash, watching 12 years of marriage follow it down. He said they wanted to do this right, be honest before. My phone pinged with a new email. I nearly dropped it when I saw the sender, Delaney Shaw Events. Hold on, I told Camilla, opening the email with trembling fingers. Oh my God. What? What is it? It's a wedding invitation. They're getting married in 6 weeks. My voice sounded distant, hollow. And there's a note from Delaney. Don't read it, delete it right now. But I couldn't stop myself. Dearest Hope, I know this is a shock, and I'm so sorry for the pain we've caused. But you've always been more than my sister. You're my best friend. It would mean everything to have you there, not just as family, but as our caterer. Your food has always been the highlight of every family event. Please say you'll do this for us, for family, love, Delaney. She wants me to cater their wedding? I laughed, a harsh, broken sound. For free, of course, because we're family. Tell her to go to hell. I sank into a kitchen chair, my mind racing. Wait, maybe I should do it. Have you lost your mind? Think about it. Everyone in town knows my catering business. If I refuse, people will talk. They'll say I'm bitter, unprofessional. It could ruin everything I've built. Hope. And Lexi? She needs to see her family together, even if we're broken. She's already asking questions about why Daddy left. This is insane. You can't... Another text popped up, this one from Riley. Please say yes to Delaney's request. It would mean so much to Lexi to have you there. We can make this work, for her sake. My hands clenched into fists. They were using my daughter, my business, my whole life as leverage, playing me like they probably had been for months. You know what? I said, my voice steadier now. I will cater their wedding. I'll create the most beautiful, memorable celebration they've ever seen. Hope, don't do this to yourself. No, you don't understand. I stood up, a plan already forming. If they want me to be part of their perfect day, I'll give them exactly what they deserve. Every last bite of it. I could hear Camilla's concern through the phone, but my mind was made up. They wanted a wedding to remember? I'd make sure no one ever forgot it. The bell above my bakery door chimed, and there she stood, my baby sister, clutching her wedding planning binder like a shield. 2 weeks had passed since Riley's confession, but seeing Delaney still felt like a punch to the gut. "Hope," she said softly, stepping toward my counter. "You haven't returned any of my calls." I continued piping buttercream roses onto a birthday cake, refusing to look up. "I've been busy. Single motherhood does that." "About the wedding?" She placed the binder on my workspace, forcing me to acknowledge her. "Have you thought about my request? You mean your demand that I cater your wedding to my husband?" The rose I was piping collapsed under sudden pressure. "For free?" "Not free exactly. We'd cover ingredients, of course." She touched my arm. I jerked away. "And think of the exposure. All those potential clients." "Don't." I finally met her eyes. "Don't pretend this is about helping my business." "It's about family," she insisted. "About Lexi having all of us together. She's so confused right now. Because her aunt stole her father." The words exploded out of me, making a customer browsing nearby jump. Delaney's eyes filled with tears. "We never meant to hurt anyone. It just happened. Haven't you ever felt something so powerful you couldn't fight it?" "Yes, it's called loyalty." I grabbed my phone, pulling up my calendar. "You want me to cater? Fine. But we're doing this professionally. Sit down." She perched on a stool, wiping her eyes. "Really? You'll do it?" 200 guests, you said?" I started typing. "That's normally a $20,000 minimum. I'll need a deposit." "Hope, we can't afford that. You know I'm between jobs, and with Riley's divorce costs." I slammed my phone down. "His divorce costs? You mean the divorce he's paying for because you two couldn't keep your hands off each other?" "Please," she whispered. "I'll help with the prep, like when we were kids, baking with Mom." The mention of our mother sent a fresh wave of pain through me. Don't you dare use Mom." She would have wanted us to stay close, no matter what. "She would have been ashamed of you." Delaney flinched, but pressed on. What if I give you my inheritance? The money Mom left me for my wedding day?" I laughed bitterly. "You mean the money she left both of us? The money you convinced me to let you hold on to because I was already married?" "Take it all," she said. "Please, Hope. No one else can do this. Your food, it's always been magical. Special." My phone buzzed. A text from Riley. "Lexi's asking for you. Parent-teacher conference tomorrow at 2. Please come." I closed my eyes, remembering Lexi's tears this morning when she realized Daddy wasn't coming home again. "Fine, I'll do it." "Really?" Delaney jumped up to hug me. I stepped back. "But I have conditions. I handle everything my way. No interference, no special requests. And I need access to your house to prep." "Of course! Anything!" She was practically bouncing. "I'll give you the spare key today." "Oh, Hope. Thank you." After she left, I retreated to my office, hands shaking as I opened my laptop. I needed to start planning the menu, but first... "You're actually doing this?" Camilla's voice came through my office phone speaker. "I don't have a choice. It's about Lexi now." "It's about revenge," she said. "Not that I blame you." I started typing out menu ideas. "I'm being professional, taking the high road." "Sure you are." She paused. "Hey, speaking of professional, I need to grab something from your office computer. Mind if I remote in?" "Go ahead." I authorized her access, watching her cursor move across my screen. "What are you looking for?" "Just some contract templates." "Oh wait, what's this?" A video file popped up, one I'd never seen before. The thumbnail showed my kitchen. "Must be from my security camera," I said. "I had it installed last month after that break-in down the street." Camilla clicked play. My kitchen appeared, dark except for the light above the stove. 2 figures moved into frame, Riley and Delaney. "Oh my God," I whispered. Their voices filled my office. "We have to tell her," Delaney was saying, "before the baby." I froze. "Baby?" "Shh! Listen," Camilla hissed. Riley pulled Delaney close. "We will. After I move the money. Hope's not stupid. She'll check the accounts first thing. How much are you taking? Everything I can. Her business loans, Lexi's college fund. I slammed the laptop shut, bile rising in my throat. A baby. They were having a baby, and Riley was planning to clean out our accounts. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Riley. Don't forget tomorrow, 2 p.m. Lexi needs both her parents there. I picked up my phone, rage making my fingers steady as I typed. I'll be there, and I'd love to cater the wedding. In fact, I have some special surprises planned. Camilla's voice came through the speaker. Hope, what are you thinking? I reopened my laptop, the incriminating video still paused on the screen. I'm thinking it's time to start planning the menu and the entertainment. A video wall inside the cake? Camilla leaned forward across my kitchen island, eyes wide. That's either brilliant or completely insane. I pulled up the design on my tablet. The latest in edible LED screens, completely food safe. When they cut into the cake, it'll activate. And play their little kitchen confession for everyone to see, she whistled. That's cold. I love it. They wanted special. I swiped through more designs. I'm giving them special. The parent-teacher conference that afternoon had been the final straw. Sitting there next to Riley, pretending everything was fine while Ms. Thompson talked about Lexi's adjustment issues. Watching him check his phone every 5 minutes, probably texting Delaney. Have you thought about the fallout? Camilla grabbed a piece of the sample cake I'd been working on. This could hurt your business. Already handled. I pulled out a stack of contracts. I've been calling all my regular clients, locking in dates for the next year. Most are happy to pre-book with a discount. Smart, she flipped through the papers. Mind if I take these? Could help with some contracts I'm working on? Sure. I turned back to my tablet. The tricky part will be the timing. The video needs to play right when... Mom! Lexi burst into the kitchen, backpack bouncing. Aunt Delaney's here! My sister followed behind, carrying a garment bag. Sorry to barge in, but I need your opinion on the bridesmaid dresses. Now? I glanced at Camilla, who was quickly gathering the contracts. Please? Delaney's hand drifted to her stomach, a gesture I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't known. The boutique needs an answer today. I should go, Camilla stood, hugging me. Call me later about those cake details. After she left, Delaney unzipped the garment bag, revealing a pale pink dress. What do you think? I know it's not your usual style, but... You want me to be a bridesmaid? I couldn't keep the edge from my voice. Of course, you're my sister. She touched my arm. My only sister. Mommy, it's so pretty. Lexi ran her fingers over the silk, like a princess dress. I looked at my daughter's excited face, then at my sister's hopeful one. The sister who was carrying my husband's baby, who was helping him steal my money, who had the nerve to stand in my kitchen asking me to celebrate her betrayal. It's perfect, I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice was. Just like everything else will be. Really? Delaney hugged me, and I forced myself not to stiffen. Oh, I was so worried you'd say no. And speaking of perfect, how's the menu planning going? Wonderfully. I moved to my recipe books, carefully angling my tablet away. I'm thinking of doing that chocolate ganache cake you always loved, with some modern touches. The one Mom used to make? Her eyes lit up. That would be amazing. And expensive, I added. The ingredients alone. Use Mom's wedding money, she said quickly. Whatever you need, I trust you completely. Those words hit like a knife. Trust. Like I had trusted her with my husband, my home, my life. Aunt Delaney, Lexi tugged at her aunt's sleeve. Can I try on the dress? It's a bit big for you, sweetie. Delaney knelt down. But guess what? We're getting you an even prettier one. You're going to be our flower girl. I gripped the counter, knuckles white. They hadn't even asked me. Really? Lexi squealed. Mommy, did you hear? I heard. I managed a smile. Why don't you go do your homework while Aunt Delaney and I discuss the menu? Once Lexi was gone, I turned to my sister. You should have asked me first. Riley thought it would help her adjust. Delaney's hand went to her stomach again. Make her feel included in the changes. Changes? I laughed sharply. Is that what we're calling it? Hope, please. Can't we just... My tablet chimed with a calendar alert. Bank appointment. Review accounts. I have to go, I cut her off. Business meeting. Let yourself out? At the bank, my worst fears were confirmed. Riley had already transferred most of our joint accounts to a new one in his name, including half of Lexi's college fund. I sat in my car afterward, hands shaking as I called Camilla. He took the money, I said when she answered. Just like in the video. That settles it then. Her voice was hard. The cake plan is on. I don't know. Using the video feels so public. Maybe I should just go to a lawyer. And what? Fight him in court while he and Delaney play happy family with your daughter? While they spend your money on their new baby? I touched my tablet, where the cake design glowed. A beautiful trap, waiting to be sprung. You're right, I said finally. The wedding's in 4 weeks. I need to start ordering supplies. That's my girl. Camilla paused. Hey, speaking of supplies, any chance I could get access to your vendor list? For research? I barely heard her question, already lost in planning the perfect revenge. Sure, whatever you need. I'm thinking we should add speakers to the cake design. Make sure everyone hears every word. The fondant needs to be exactly 2 millimeters thick, I instructed my kitchen staff, watching them roll out sheets of pristine white icing. Any thicker, and it'll interfere with the electronics. 2 days before the wedding, and my commercial kitchen hummed with activity. Every surface covered with flowers, decorations, and partially assembled cake tiers. The perfect crime scene in progress. Hope? A familiar voice made me turn. Nick, Riley's father, stood in the doorway. You can't be back here, I said quickly. Health code regulations. He stepped in anyway, looking around at the elaborate preparations. Quite a production you've got going. Did Riley send you to check up on me? No. He touched one of the sugar flowers. I came on my own, been trying to work up the courage to talk to you. I gestured for my staff to take a break, waiting until we were alone. There's nothing to talk about. I disagree. Nick pulled out a chair. Sit with me, please. Something in his voice made me comply. Nick had always been more of a father to me than my own dad. I'm sorry, he said simply, for what my son did to you, to this family. You don't have to. Yes, I do. He leaned forward. I raised him better than this, or I thought I did. I focused on arranging sugar flowers, trying to keep my hands steady. It doesn't matter now. It matters to me. He reached into his jacket. And this matters too. He placed a check on the counter. I glanced at it and gasped. The amount would cover all the money Riley had taken, plus more. I can't accept this. You can, and you will. His voice was firm. Consider it Lexi's college fund. Put it in an account only you can access. Nick, I know what you're planning, he said quietly. My hands froze on the sugar flowers. What? The cake, the video, all of it. He held up a hand as I started to protest. Your supplier called me by mistake last week about the LED screens. Thought I was still handling the wedding finances. Are you going to tell them? No. He stood up. But I am going to ask you one question. Is this really who you want to be? They deserve it, I whispered. After what they did. Probably. He headed for the door. But do you deserve what it'll do to you? I stared at the check after he left, his words echoing in my head. The kitchen door swung open again. Everything okay? Camilla walked in, carrying coffee. You look like you've seen a ghost. Nick knows. I told her about his visit. Maybe he's right. Maybe I should... Stop right there. She set the coffee down hard. Have you forgotten about the baby? About how they're planning to play happy family with your daughter? No, but... And what about your business? She gestured around the kitchen. I've been hearing things. Delaney's been calling your clients, telling them she's taking over your accounts after the wedding, that with Riley's connections, she can offer better deals. My blood ran cold. What? Check your emails. Several clients tried to contact you about it. I grabbed my phone, finding messages I'd somehow missed. 3 major clients expressing concerns about their contracts. They're trying to destroy everything I've built, I whispered. Exactly. Camilla picked up one of the sugar flowers. So what are you going to do about it? I looked at the half-assembled cake tiers, each one containing carefully hidden speakers and screens. At Nick's check, representing everything they'd tried to take from me. The plan stays, I said firmly, but I need your help with something else. Anything. I want to record a new introduction for the video, something more personal. She grinned. Now you're talking. What did you have in mind? I outlined my idea as we walked through the kitchen, past staff returning to work on the cake that would destroy my sister's wedding. Each tier was a ticking bomb of betrayal, set to explode at the perfect moment. Just promise me one thing, Camilla said as she left. Don't lose your nerve, no matter what anyone says. I picked up Nick's check, then looked at the latest text from Delaney. Can't wait to see the cake tomorrow. You've always made everything in my life more special. Don't worry, I said, ripping the check in half. I won't. I turned back to my staff, clapping my hands. All right, everyone, let's make this wedding one they'll never forget. The cake rose before me, layer by layer, beautiful and deadly, just like the revenge it would serve. The wedding venue sparkled with fairy lights and pink roses, a perfect Pinterest dream come true. I adjusted the final tier of the cake, my hands steady despite the gravity of what I was about to do. Mommy, look at my dress. Lexi twirled beside me, flower petals falling from her basket. Aunt Delaney said I looked just like a princess. You do, baby. I kissed her forehead, breathing in her sweet scent. Why don't you go find Grandpa Nick? It's almost time. As she skipped away, Delaney appeared in a flutter of white lace. Hope! The appetizers are amazing. Everyone's raving about them. Just wait for dessert, I said, smoothing my bridesmaid dress. It'll be unforgettable. You've been so wonderful about everything. She hugged me, her baby bump now slightly visible. I know this hasn't been easy. The wedding coordinator interrupted us. 5 minutes, everyone. Places, please. I watched the ceremony from my spot in the line of bridesmaids, clutching my bouquet so tight the stems cracked. Riley beamed as Delaney walked down the aisle, the same look he'd given me 12 years ago. The reception began, and I moved through my catering duties like an automaton, serving plates, directing staff, checking temperatures. All while the cake waited, its hidden screens ready to expose every lie. Need help with anything? Camilla appeared at my elbow. The cake presentation is in 20 minutes. Everything's set. I glanced at my phone where the video file waited. Did you upload the new introduction? All ready to go. She squeezed my arm. No second thoughts? Before I could answer, Riley approached. Hope, can we talk? Camilla melted away as he led me to a quiet corner. I wanted to thank you, he said, for making this easier on Lexi, on everyone. Is that what you think I'm doing? I know we hurt you. He had the decency to look ashamed. But seeing you here, being so professional, maybe we can all move forward, be a real family again. A family? I laughed softly. Is that what you'll tell Lexi when the new baby arrives? He paled. How did you... Time for the cake cutting, the coordinator's voice rang out. I turned away from Riley's shocked face. Better get up there, your bride's waiting. The cake stood magnificent in the center of the room, white fondant gleaming under spotlights. Delaney and Riley posed beside it, knife poised for that first symbolic cut. Ladies and gentlemen, the DJ announced, please gather round for the cake-cutting ceremony. Phones came out, cameras flashed. I stood at the back, remote control hidden in my palm. Wait, Delaney called out. I want to say something first. My finger hovered over the button as she turned to address the crowd. I want to thank my amazing sister, she said, eyes finding mine. Hope, you've always been there for me, even when I didn't deserve it. This cake, this whole day, it's perfect because of you, because you chose love over anger. I'll never forget that. Murmurs of appreciation rippled through the guests. I saw Nick watching me intently from across the room, Lexi perched on his shoulders. Mommy, she called out, waving. Can I help cut the cake? Delaney beamed. Of course you can, sweetie. Come help Daddy and me. I watched my daughter run forward, her little face glowing with excitement as Riley lifted her up. The three of them stood together, looking like a perfect family. My finger trembled on the remote. Ready? Riley asked, helping Lexi grip the knife handle. 1, 2. The blade touched the fondant. One push of the button and their world would explode. The screens would light up. The speakers would blast their betrayal to everyone they knew. Their perfect day would become their perfect nightmare. 3. The knife sliced down. I didn't press the button. The cake cut cleanly, revealing layers of rich chocolate and cream. No screens, no speakers, no revenge. Just the cake my mother used to make, prepared exactly the way she taught me. Gasps of delight filled the room as guests saw the intricate layers. "It's beautiful," someone called out. "Hope?" Camilla appeared beside me. "What are you doing? Press it." I handed her the remote. "No, but they deserve it. After everything." "Look at Lexi," I said quietly. My daughter was laughing as Riley helped her cut another slice, Delaney wiping frosting from her nose. She was happy, innocent, untouched by the poison of revenge. "I won't be the one to destroy that," I said. "I won't let their choices turn me into someone my daughter wouldn't recognize." I walked away from Camilla's protests, past the cake that could have been a weapon, and straight to the venue's office. There, I pulled out my phone and dialed my lawyer's number. "It's Hope," I said when she answered. "I'm ready to file those papers we discussed. And I want full custody. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's choosing who you want to be when the dust settles." 3 days after the wedding, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Not with congratulations, but with cancellations. "I'm so sorry, Hope," Christine, my biggest client, said, "but we've decided to go in a different direction for our corporate events." I gripped my desk. "Different direction?" "Your sister made quite an impression at the wedding. Her prices are more competitive." One by one they called, each conversation a fresh knife in my back. By afternoon, I'd lost 6 major contracts. The bakery door chimed. Camilla stormed in, waving her phone. "Have you seen this?" She thrust her screen at me. There was Delaney's smiling face on Instagram, standing in a professional kitchen, my professional kitchen. The caption read, "Exciting news, taking over Hope's Catering, rebranding as Delaney's Divine Events. Same great service, better prices." "She's using my photos," I said numbly. "Those are my designs." "Because you let her win!" Camilla slapped her hand on the counter. "We had them, the video, the proof of everything. Now look what's happening." "I did it for Lexi." "And what about Lexi's future? The college fund Riley stole? The business you built from nothing?" The bell chimed again. Riley walked in, looking uncomfortable in his expensive suit. "Get out," I said. "Hope, please. We need to talk about the business transition." "Transition?" I laughed harshly. "You mean hostile takeover?" "It's not like that." He pulled out some papers. "Delaney has investors lined up. They'll buy you out, give you a fair price." "Fair?" Camilla stepped forward. "Like stealing your wife's clients is fair?" "This isn't your concern," Riley snapped at her. "Actually," she smiled tightly. "It is. Show him Hope." I stared at her. "Show him what?" She pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and suddenly the air filled with familiar voices. Riley and Delaney in my kitchen, planning to take my money. "Where did you get that?" I whispered. "From your security camera." She turned to Riley. "Bet those investors would love to hear how you planned this whole thing. How you stole from your own daughter's college fund." Riley's face went white. "You're bluffing." "Try me." She played another clip, them discussing the pregnancy, the takeover, everything. "You said you deleted it," I said. "I saved a copy, for insurance." She smiled at Riley. "Now, about that buyout." "This is blackmail," he sputtered. "This is business." Camilla's voice was steel. "Walk away. Leave Hope's clients alone, or this goes public." He stormed out, slamming the door so hard the bell fell. "I can't believe you kept the video," I said. "Someone had to protect you." She touched my arm. "You're too nice, Hope. Always have been." "I should be angry you went behind my back." "But you're not," she grinned, "because I just saved your business." My phone buzzed. Christine again. Hope? Just heard some interesting things about Delaney's new venture. Think we should stick with you after all. More calls followed. Clients returning, contracts reinstated. By closing time, my business was intact. Celebrate with me, Camilla said, pulling out a wine bottle. To victory! But something felt off. How did you know about the investors? What? You mentioned Delaney's investors before Riley did. She poured the wine, not meeting my eyes. Lucky guess. And the video. I stepped back. You didn't just save it. You edited it, added things. I did what needed doing. She set down her glass. Someone had to. The client list you borrowed, the contracts you wanted to research, you were planning this all along. Planning what? To save your business? To steal it. The realization hit hard. You were going to use that video to force a buyout yourself. Don't be ridiculous. Show me your phone. Hope, show me. She handed it over. In her emails, I found everything. Messages to investors, plans for rebranding, my client list, with detailed notes on how to undercut my prices. I was trying to help, she said quietly. Get out. Hope, please, get out. After she left, I sat in my empty bakery, surrounded by the ruins of 2 betrayals. My phone buzzed again. Delaney. I heard what happened, she said when I answered. With Camilla, I'm so sorry. Are you? I laughed bitterly. Sorry enough to stop stealing my clients? A long pause. I never wanted to hurt you. Funny how everyone keeps saying that. I hung up, staring at the wedding photos flooding social media. Everyone smiling, celebrating love and new beginnings. While behind the scenes, my world was falling apart all over again. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Nick. Come over tomorrow. Bring Lexi. We need to talk. I looked around my bakery, the dream I'd built, nearly lost, and somehow kept. Maybe it was time to build something new. Nick's house smelled like fresh coffee and cinnamon rolls when we arrived. Lexi ran straight to his workshop where he always kept a project ready for her. She's getting good with that junior tool set, he said, watching her through the window. Natural builder, like her grandfather. Why did you ask us here, Nick? He gestured to the kitchen table, where a familiar face sat waiting. Christine? I stopped short. What are you doing here? My former client, now current again after yesterday's chaos, stood up. Nick called me. We've been talking about your situation. My situation? Sit down, Hope. Nick pulled out a chair. We have a proposition for you. Christine opened her laptop. I'm expanding my event planning business, opening new venues across 3 states. I need a reliable catering partner. And I'm retiring, Nick added, selling my properties. I looked between them. I don't understand. My restaurant spaces, Nick explained. 4 prime locations, perfect for a catering company looking to expand. Christine nodded. With my venues and Nick's properties, we could build something amazing, a full-service empire. But the cost, I started, is covered. Nick pulled out a folder. Remember that check you tore up? This is better. I'm offering vendor financing, reasonable terms. And I'm prepared to invest, Christine added. Become a silent partner. Your name, your brand, just bigger. My hands shook as I looked through the proposal. This is a chance to turn this mess into something good, Nick said softly. The kitchen door burst open. Mommy! Lexi ran in, holding a wooden birdhouse. Look what Grandpa helped me make. It's beautiful, sweetie. Can we hang it at home for the birds? Home. The word hit hard. We'd been staying in a hotel since the wedding, avoiding the house full of memories. About that, Nick said. The apartment above my downtown restaurant. It's included in the deal. 2-bedroom, private entrance. I can't accept all this. Yes, you can. Christine leaned forward. Because you're the best at what you do, and because I've seen your recipes folder. I stared at her. What? Camilla tried to sell them to me yesterday. Said they were hers now. My stomach dropped. She what? I knew they weren't hers. Christine smiled. Nobody makes a chocolate ganache cake like yours, so I called Nick. Camila came to see me too, Nick said. Tried to convince me to sell her the properties instead. That's when I knew we had to move fast. A knock at the door interrupted us. Nick opened it to reveal Delaney, pale and nervous. Sorry to interrupt, she said, but I need to tell Hope something. Not now, I started. Please, she stepped in. It's about Camilla. I noticed she wasn't wearing her engagement ring. What about her? She came to see me this morning, offered to be my business partner instead, showed me contracts, client lists, said she had dirt on everyone in town. Including you? I asked quietly. Delaney nodded. She played us all against each other, and She touched her stomach. I can't do this anymore. The business, the lies. I'm moving back home, to Mom's house. What about Riley? He's staying here with his pregnant girlfriend. The room went silent. Even Lexi looked up from her birdhouse. Girlfriend? I whispered. Camilla. Delaney's voice broke. They've been together for months, before us. The pieces clicked into place. Camilla's constant pushing for revenge, her convenient discovery of the security footage, her eagerness to help destroy my sister's wedding. She played us all, I said. Like fiddles, Christine agreed. But now we play back. She turned her laptop to show me something else, a business plan. Not just for catering, but for a complete hospitality group. Venues, restaurants, catering, events. Hope's Hospitality Group, I read. With a special program, Nick added. For single parents trying to start over. Training, jobs, support. Like Mom did for us, Delaney said softly. I looked at my daughter, still proudly holding her birdhouse. At Nick, offering a future instead of revenge. At Christine, seeing value in what I'd built. Even at Delaney, choosing truth over lies. Okay, I said, but I have conditions. Name them, Christine replied. First, we document everything Camilla's done, protect ourselves legally. Already on it, Nick said. Second, the single-parent program is priority one, not just jobs, real careers. Christine nodded. We'll make it happen. And third, I turned to Delaney. You want to start over? Prove it. Work from the bottom. Learn the business right. She straightened. I will, I promise. Mommy? Lexi tugged my sleeve. Can we paint the birdhouse in our new home? I pulled her close, breathing in the scent of sawdust and hope. Yes, baby, we can paint it any color you want. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's building something so much bigger than what was taken from you. The autumn breeze carried the scent of fresh paint and coffee through the open windows of Hope's Hospitality Group's new downtown location. I stood in the teaching kitchen, watching our first class of single-parent trainees practice their piping techniques. Beautiful work, Maria, I said, examining a perfectly frosted cupcake. You're ready for the advanced class. The young mother beamed. Really? I never thought I'd... The door burst open. Christine rushed in, tablet in hand. Hope, turn on the news. Now. I grabbed the remote, flicking on the kitchen's wall-mounted TV. There was Camilla, being led out of her office in handcuffs. Local businesswoman arrested for fraud and extortion, the reporter announced. Sources say she attempted to blackmail multiple prominent businesses. My phone buzzed. Delaney calling from the downtown cafe she now managed. Are you seeing this? I'm seeing it. I watched Riley appear in the background of the news footage, also in handcuffs. Both of them. Karma's quite the baker, Christine said, smiling. Serves up exactly what you deserve. I turned back to my class. Everyone take 5, get some coffee. After they filed out, Nick walked in, carrying a familiar-looking folder. The last of Camilla's stolen contracts, recovered from her office, plus something else you should see. He handed me a stack of photos. Surveillance shots of me, Delaney, our businesses, dating back months before the wedding. She was planning this for a long time, he said, planning to take everything. I shook my head, while pretending to be my best friend. Mom! Lexi ran in from the adjoining daycare center we'd built for our employees' children. Look what I made! She held up a drawing of our building, complete with the rooftop garden where we grew herbs and vegetables. The sign in her picture read, "Hope's Family." "That's exactly right," I said, hugging her. "We are a family." The door chimed as Delaney entered, carrying a familiar-looking cake box. "Found this recipe while cleaning out the cafe storage. Mom's original chocolate ganache." "The one she used to make for new beginnings," I said softly. "Think these count as new beginnings?" She gestured around at the bustling kitchen, the training program, the life we'd rebuilt from ashes. "Let's find out." I opened the box, breathing in the familiar scent. "Get the plates." As we shared Mom's cake with our students, staff, and each other, I realized something. The revenge I'd planned at the wedding would have destroyed more than just Delaney and Riley. It would have destroyed me. "Hope?" Christine called from the door. "The reporter's here for your interview about the training program." I wiped my hands on my apron. "Ready?" "Wait!" Delaney touched my arm. "I know I don't deserve to ask anything of you, but could you visit me at Mom's house sometime? See what I'm doing with the place?" I looked at my sister, really looked at her. The designer clothes were gone, replaced by a simple work uniform. The entitled attitude replaced by genuine humility. "Bring cake," I said finally. "We'll talk." The reporter was setting up in our rooftop garden when my phone buzzed with a text from Riley's lawyer. "Client wishes to surrender full custody. Agree to terms." "Everything okay?" Nick asked, seeing my expression. I showed him the text. "Better than okay. You know," he said, "revenge is like baking. Too much heat and everything burns. But the right amount of patience creates something worth sharing," I finished. The reporter gestured me over, pointing to the garden and training kitchen below. "Tell me, what inspired all this?" I thought about Camilla's betrayal, Riley's theft, Delaney's affair, about the revenge I'd planned and the redemption I'd found instead. "Life rarely gives us what we expect," I said. "Sometimes it gives us something better. Like my mother teaching me to bake, I'm teaching others to build new lives, because the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well," Nick added, squeezing my shoulder. Below us, Lexi was showing Maria's daughter how to water the herbs. Delaney was teaching a new employee the register. Christine was interviewing another single parent for our program. "And the secret ingredient?" the reporter asked. I smiled, thinking of the cake that could have ruined a wedding, but instead inspired something greater. Second chances, served with a side of grace. The evening sun painted our building gold as families gathered for graduation dinner, our first class of trainees completing their certification. The tables were laden with their creations, each dish representing a new beginning. "To new beginnings," Christine raised her glass. "To family," Nick added. "To hope," Delaney said softly. I looked around at the family we'd built, not perfect, but real, stronger than betrayal, bigger than revenge. "To all of it," I said, cutting into Mom's chocolate cake. "Every messy, beautiful bite.